Hey guys, Kevin, Muddy River Tactical. Thank you for joining me today. Today I have the Hellcat Pro. We're going to do a full 1,000 round review and I'm going to tell you my thoughts. This gun has been highly requested by viewers for the last couple months, so we got our hands on one and I put 1,000 rounds through it. So stay with us and I'll tell you my full thoughts on this pistol. Alright guys, in today's sea of 9mm, the market is just absolutely flooded with a ton of options and a ton of great options at that. So where does this Hellcat Pro fall into those categories? So let's start by the Hellcat Pro comes with two 15-round magazines. So when the SIG 365 came out, Springfield's rebuttal to that per se would be the Hellcat. Now they have the Hellcat Pro, which has a 3.7-inch barrel, so it's a little longer and a more full-size grip. But it's still only an inch wide, so it's a good all-around carry package. In comparison, this gun is super similar to 365 XL or the Shield Plus 4-inch or something in that range is what this is a true competitor to. However, you can also compare this gun to a Glock 19, as it's got the same round capacity, about the same grip, 3.7-inch barrel to a 4-inch or 3.9 on a Glock 19. So it's super similar to that, but it definitely wins on the width of the gun being only an inch compared to the Glock 19 being significantly wider. So for a carry gun, in my opinion, this is really an optimal size. It allows you to have a full grip purchase on the gun, but also be small enough to carry. So in the concealed carry market, you really have that fine line between shootability and concealability. The small guns, no matter which brand it is, don't shoot as good as the bigger guns. But a lot of people also can't pull off a full-size gun for concealed carry. So it's kind of a good in-between in my opinion, and I really like the size of it. Like we said, this has a 3.7-inch barrel. They come optic cut, and the regular sights have a U rear and a tritium front dot sight, which the stock sights I'm a super fan of, but being as it's optic cut, I'm always going to go for an optic over regular sights any day. So I put a Holosun 407K on here and it just performs really well. It's got a front rail on it. We chose to put a Streamlight TLR7 sub on here. Generally, I'm not a fan of weapon lights. However, on this gun, it doesn't stick out really, and it's fairly compact. So we just chose to run it with the light on it for now. I don't know if I would conceal carry it with the light on it all the time, but it could definitely take the light off, concealed carry it during the day, and pop the light on at home, and it could be a very viable home defense gun as well. So with this gun, you really get an all-around package. When it comes to texturing on this gun, if you guys watch the channel, you know just about every handgun I do, I have a gripe about texturing. In my opinion, this Hellcat Pro has the texturing completely right. They take the texturing all the way up where your thumbs ride, and then also where your off thumb rides or your finger rides there. The texturing just feels really good and works very well. As far as texturing goes, it's one of outside of the Walther PDP, it's my favorite texturing, and the texture itself feels better than the 365 in my opinion for sure. As far as shootability of this gun, we've shot 1,000 rounds through this pistol and had zero hiccups in the world. It has shot great. I've read some people where they have problems with accuracy. I had zero issues with accuracy on this gun, so that's not an issue at all. Literally, it fed all the ammo we shot through it. Reman Federal, Angel Fire out of St. Mary's, Kansas. We get a lot of Reman ammo from them. We shot all that through it with no issues at all. The one downside to this gun, for me, and it's honestly really the only downside, is the trigger. So it's got not a lot of take up, but a little bit, and then a wall, but the brake is just heavy and long. The reset is also longer than it needs to be, and then just a little harder brake. I think the trigger's almost 7 pounds, I believe. So when you're looking at a sea of 9 millimeters and a ton of good options in the market, this has a ton of good features that I like over some guns, but the trigger does not even compete anywhere close to the SIG 365 XL trigger or even the Shield Plus performance trigger. This one is definitely way behind that. I'm sure there's aftermarket triggers you could drop in. I haven't really looked. If I was going to keep this gun, I'd definitely look into those options, because outside of the trigger, I really like everything about this gun. You know, when you go to a gun store and pick up some of these pistols, what feels good in your hand at the store compared to shooting it are two different things generally. So when I first got this gun, before we ever took it to the range, when I grabbed it, the first thing I thought is I love the texturing, but the overall feel wasn't bad, but just didn't feel right either per se. But I'm also used to shooting a SIG macro or something like that, so it's just a more blocky type grip than what the SIGs would be. However, when I took this thing to the range and actually shot 1,000 rounds through it over a couple week period, I found myself liking the feel of it more and more. I don't have super big hands, so this grip is, I'd say, on the smaller side, but for me, it's really about perfect. I can get a full purchase grip on the gun. It just feels really good. The undercut's good. As far as I'm concerned, the ergonomics on this are spot on. Reliability, like we talked about, was spot on. This is definitely a gun I would feel 100% confident carrying all the time. What it really comes down to is this is a 21 ounce pistol, so it's good for concealed carry. The weight's good. Everything's good on it. $600 price point, so for what you're paying, I think you're getting a lot of value in this. However, like I said, you really just got to go shoot them and see if you're comparing this to like a SIG or the Shield 4-inch or something like that. The deciding factor for me would be the trigger. So this is a great gun, but it's got a lot of competition. So you just got to feel what's right for you. For me, the trigger is the downfall on this, and I would definitely look into aftermarket option. Other than that, this is a great all-around gun. If you're in the market for a gun in this size, I would definitely not steer away from this gun. It has performed flawlessly. It's got a ton of good features on it. And some people may like the trigger. It's just what you're used to as well. For me, it's just a little heavy, so it affects your follow-up shot rate and how you can shoot this gun. How fast you can shoot it is just a little hindrance by the trigger. And also, the heavier the trigger pull, and especially in a striker fired gun, the more accuracy issues you could have. So I didn't have any accuracy issues. You know, I got used to the trigger, but maybe the reviews on the accuracy are just because the trigger is a little heavier and it just makes it a little harder to shoot. But there's so much dependence on that as far as shooter skill level. You know, I'm not a great shot either. There's tons of guys better than me. So it really depends if you're entry level, high level, mid range, how it feels to you. But overall, definitely go check this gun out. We've shot 1,000 rounds through it and have thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm actually going to keep this gun and probably do a 2,000 round review on it as well. And I may even possibly look into an aftermarket trigger, because like I said, in my opinion, if I could get a trigger in there that was anywhere close to a SIG 365 trigger, I'm not sure I wouldn't like this gun more than the 365. But until I changed that trigger, I couldn't say that for sure. As of right now, I would personally choose the 365, but it's solely on the trigger. Everything else is flawless, and you wouldn't have any issues with it. So, like I said, if you're in the market, go check one out. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. We're always here to help. Also, if you need any holsters for the Hellcat or Hellcat with TLR7 sub, or any of your other pistols, we got you taken care of. Go check us out at muddyrivertactical.com, and we can take care of all your holster needs. Until next time, keep practicing and always be prepared.